Sorry. Yeah, okay. Doing things a little bit different here.
If you think that this is loud, doing it outside on my deck with traffic noise, wait till we're doing this on the floor at Circus in Las Vegas, like while I'm at the Baccarat table.
True.
You think that won't be loud? Just lav mic'd up.
Trying something a bit new here, folks. It's St. Patrick's Day, and we decided to have a couple of Guinnesses in, respect of Johnny's heritage. But we're outside because the weather's kind of nice, and we thought we'll try doing it a little bit differently. Try a new...
We got a little fire here. It's Irish.
It's a kind of a shebeen energy.
Is this new pop screen thing? Have you listened? Like, am I coming through? It might sound crazy.
Shall I listen?
I don't know.
Do you just do something for like 30 seconds? I'll go get the microphone. We're back on the old Zoom.
Oh, Mary, this London. I'm just kidding.
No, I like it.
I'd like to dedicate this one to all my Irish relatives in Newcastle, County Down. The place where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. I don't think any of them listen to this, but perhaps some of our UK listeners have some family over there.
Oh, it sounds great, actually, with that pop shield on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of fun doing this podcast with headphones on.
I'm more of a Frank Sinatra kind of Capitol Records type. I don't like, you know what I mean? Just the band in the room.
Like, that's what... I remember seeing, like, Graham Nash, like, going on stage with, like, fucking Coldplay or something. And they were like, "We've got an in-ear rig for you." He's like, "I don't need that. Get me I just want just a single monitor. Old school.
Old school.
It feels great. I'm wearing headphones now, guys. But
I feel less connected to you with the headphones because it's like you're listening to music or something.
But if you had these on, you'd hear me really well. You'd be like, "Oh, this is nice."
Yeah.
You can't hear the traffic, really.
I can hear you, though.
I've been there. I'll take them off then. Hang on. Welcome to another Wednesday's episode of Impossible Way of Life, the show that gives you all of the classic albums, documentaries. The show that tells
without any of the research.
The show that tells you nothing more and nothing less than you will find out.
Actually.
A lot less than you will find out just doing these albums. Like, man, I love that it took them. You read the classic albums documentaries Wikipedia, and it's like 1 year, like 1997, they do like Like a Rolling Stone, Abbey Road, 7 other records. The next year, Dark Side of the Moon. Takes the whole year for them to put that documentary together.
Like a Rolling Stone, is that like the Rolling Stones album from 97?
Yeah, Like a Rolling Stone.
Remember when they covered that?
No.
Did they call the album that? That would have been cool.
That would have been
Like
cool.
a Rolling Stone.
A lot of people were kind of using the Rolling Stone name.
Yeah.
Who did it first, Dylan?
I think Muddy Waters, no?
Oh, it's going to be Blues.
Yeah. They got it from him.
And then also Dylan was into
Temps.
it. Yeah,
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
And then Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Magazine. That's kind of weird, that one.
Yeah, actually, the magazine's funny. The magazine's like, really?
Yeah, you couldn't have done something better than that.
It actually seems really unoriginal when you think about it now. There's this band, the Rolling Stones, are going to call our magazine. Just call it like Beatles.
Yeah. Like,
imagine if it was called Beatles.
Yeah. It's probably been a magazine. If it's been a magazine, it must have been since like the 20s or something.
Yeah.
It can't imagine if it was like they came up with a magazine, was founded in like 68.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty weird.
So birthdays today, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
This was really special when this happened, when I read it today, because we are doing Thin Lizzy as a topic, I guess, or something tonight.
I guess so.
Live and Dangerous. Great record.
Something along the lines.
Rockin' record. Anyway, this day in music, St. Patrick's Day.
Welcome to the podcast, This Day in Music.
This Day in Music.
With Johnny Payne.
We got some big ones today, some heavy hitters. Nat King Cole.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Great singer. Zola Taylor from American vocal group The Platters.
Okay.
Only You, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. Wonderful stuff.
Do you like, you remember like Ziggs on Main Street? They'd have like a burger and like fries, but you could get the silver platter, and they do it like salad, half fries.
Oh yeah,
that's a good move.
Yeah,
but kind of a Vegas move.
I thought you were talking about Zawa on Commercial Drive.
No, not Zawa. I've never been to Zawa before.
That's good. That Dan Calusi used to just go in there and drink when it was like empty.
Really, just by himself?
And with Mike.
Yeah, I mean,
But Mike would show up kind of later. Dan would go alone.
Mike would probably hit the Princeton for a few hours morning session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
morning.
longshoreman
Yep.
getting off the night shift.
Yep.
That
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about Mike, who was on the Eagles episode recently, for those listening. He's a day drinker. When he's drinking.
Right now
when he's not drinking,
in a
he's solving
fugue
like
state.
Pythagoras theorem.
I think Pythagoras solved Pythagoras' theorem. But
Well, maybe not
maybe
fully.
not. Yeah, and Mike's going to get to the bottom of it.
He's crunching numbers.
Yeah, he is.
Paul Kantner, American guitar singer-songwriter from Jefferson Airplane.
Okay.
He's the guy who got punched out at Altamont.
Hell yeah.
We've got Clarence Collins from Little Anthony and the Imperials.
They have a real Burger Energy Records, Jefferson Airplane, around that time.
Burger Records?
Yeah, kind of like, sort of like psyche, like kind of sleazebag psych.
Nobody likes it, but they're big kind of
Well,
thing?
kind of cool. Yeah, it's cool, I guess.
Ooh, that's good. Jameson's.
We're doing all the Irish things.
That's great.
Yeah.
I got a pint of Guinness and a Jameson's here. Little Anthony and the Imperials. Tears on my pillow,
Pain in my
heart calls by you.
Great song. Yeah.
Song gave Kylie Minogue
Yes,
a UK
certainly
number
did.
one
and
in
bought her a new
1990.
ass, presumably, as well, because she's had a few.
Were
of
you
those.
doing the Kylie Minogue version?
Yeah, I
there?
was. Yeah.
Interesting. Bob Johnson, English folk rock band Steely Span. Don't know their stuff,
sure,
really.
Yeah, not to be confused with Robert Johnson or Steely Dan.
John Sebastian of the Love and Spoonful.
Not to be confused with Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, or Bell and Sebastian.
Yeah, Balance Sebastian Spoonful.
I always loved him at Woodstock when he comes out and he says, "Oh, man, it's just so beautiful, man." He says, "Everybody, just love everybody around you and pick up a little trash on the way out and everything's going to be all right, man."
Wow. I couldn't even tell you a song.
So then I got to Love and Spoonful.
Yeah.
Hot town, summer in the
It's a
city.
good one.
Working my neck.
There you go.
We got Do You Believe in Magic?
Oh,
they
they've
have
had
some
a
good
couple
ones.
of big
Yeah.
ones. They kind of like it. They're a Bay Area band.
We haven't
right?
talked about it. They're part of the I don't know where they fit in. They're dorky. They're
Yeah,
part of the
kinda
Mamas
like-
and Papas.
Yeah. Yes.
Early.
Yes.
L.A.
L.A.
Yeah, L.A. Like, I think he was like New York.
Oh yeah, and Luke was saying that like that's kind of like now that's big again in LA. Like a lot of kids like kind of dressing like the Loving Spoonful, playing like kind of
Yeah.
summer like vibey summer music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more on the Paranoid scene.
So then we continued on, and I got a little excited because Pat McCauley, keyboards with the Northern Irish band Them.
Them, yeah.
Birthday
sure.
today.
Yeah, Vam.
Yeah, but I was like, cool, St. Patty's Day, Okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
But that's Van Morrison's band, right?
Yeah, Them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gloria. Maybe
Yeah.
the greatest rock and roll song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a standard.
I'm
rock.
thinking about the Patti Smith one.
Well, that's great too. But
Yeah.
the Them one, it
Yeah, I know.
rocks.
Yeah.
We got Harold Brown, drummer and vocalist and band leader with War.
What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. Okay, we got I don't know this guy really.
Say it.
Pat Lloyd from the British pop R&B and rock group The Equals, who had the 1968 UK #1 hit "Baby Come Back."
No,
You
that's
can
not
blame
them.
it
That's
all.
not that.
Oh, it's
No,
called Baby
that's
Come Back.
Player, I think.
It's
Or
called
Ace.
Baby Come Back. I don't
Yeah,
know.
different.
And now, drum roll, please.
Yeah.
Scott Gorham,
Yeah.
guitarist for Thin Lizzy.
Wow, that's something special. Imagine being him and born on St. Patrick's Day.
It's his birthday today.
That would probably have been a party. Did he play on Live and Dangerous?
Yes.
Is he one of the twin guitar attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twin guitar. Love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's as far as I got.
I liked it. Well, I had something I was going to say.
Billy Corgan.
William Corgan. I once saw him in Macclesfield on
At Lassen's in Echo Park.
No,
he probably
in
shops there.
Macclesfield in South Manchester, and he was doing something with New Order, and he was just in. It's a shithole.
Yeah.
I can say that I'm from there, and he was just
course you
walking around. I was in the studio yesterday doing some work, and
Possible way of life, guys.
and
recommend it.
we were doing some guide vocals. The singer was doing some guide vocals in the control room,
Take heed.
right? doing some guide
Take
vocals,
heed, you listeners.
and
Yeah.
Pedro is on the SSL there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he was like, man, you got to hear like this mic we're doing guide vocals with. Like, listen, there's like zero bleed on it. It's incredible. It's like so directional. We could do them tonight. And he said, and before he could even say anything, I was like, was it designed for Bono? You know, because he famously feels himself
through the monitors.
Yeah, and he was like, no, Sting. And I was like,
Wow.
of course, Sting's the other guy
Wow.
who does it. Sting's another control room singer.
Another control freak.
Yeah.
Or he's just
tantric
like, I don't
control
want
freak.
any other sound getting picked up in my
No.
vocal mic except Sting.
Yeah.
He talks in the third
He
person.
does, yeah, like
if there's
Mr. The
anything other than
Edge.
Sting's vocals coming through Sting's vocal mic, Sting's not going to be very pleasant to be around.
Yeah. It's like that. Who's the Seinfeld character who does that?
George? Oh, no.
There's like
Pop.
it's not Putty.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
There's like a famous one.
God,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Is that
Jimmy.
Friends or Seinfeld?
No, it's Seinfeld.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy doesn't like misunderstandings.
So, yeah.
But Bono and Sting both talk like that too.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
Bono says goes.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm Bono. I'm doing Bono.
Oh, I see.
Well, Bono says goes.
Yeah, you know, there's a guy from Vancouver who has the best U2 story of all time. Like, he, guy called Eric. I make him tell this story every time I see him. I'm going to just tell it because it's one of the greatest stories. It's a great party story. You just pretend it happened to you.
Somebody I really respect and admire once told me, if it's a great story once, it's worth telling
There
again.
you go, yeah. Appreciate that. Certainly do appreciate it. You know, Eric was working at Rogers Arena. It's the arena in the city.
Yeah.
And he was working for a catering company. And U2 had rented it out for a week to practice the 360 tour. They just rented the whole arena out.
Can't believe their tour is called the 360 Tour. So fucking lame.
It's just because they were like on a spaceship on it or something, isn't it? Like, like they could just run around.
Oh, that's the route they took around Earth to
Yeah.
perform?
No, I think they could they were on a spaceship, or you could they were in the middle of the crowd, or the crowd was in the middle of them. Or I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, so they've I think the funny thing is that they rented out an arena to practice in.
Of course.
Just we're gonna need.
Got to get the authentic sound.
Yeah, you gotta work out the reverb and
If we nail
tap
this,
those echoes.
if we nail this rehearsal in this empty arena,
Yeah.
imagine what it's going to be like. With this place is fucking packed with
Yeah.
50,000 people.
Yeah, they probably rented the Terracotta Warriors,
Yeah.
all 50,000 of them from China. You know
Is that like
those
a basketball team?
No, it's the guys that were underground, and they found them in a cave, and there was loads of them.
Oh,
Made of terracotta. It's a dynasty kind of thing.
right.
Dynasty feel.
Yeah, I got you.
Anyway,
what
so they're playing, and Eric, who's a very, very accomplished and accomplished sound engineer, very great musician too. Talk about impossible way of life. Back then was working for a catering company, kind of on the side.
Yeah.
Now he runs Afterlife.
Yeah.
Has a great Studer board in there, a lot of old stuff.
Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Yeah. Oh, and I've been there. So
I've been there too.
He's it's where Mushroom was.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
history.
did a session in
history.
Afterlife with Eric.
A lot
recently.
of history in those
It was great.
walls.
Oh, those walls could talk.
Barracuda.
Oh, yeah, Magic Man.
Totally. Chilliwack, big time, flying now.
Loverboy.
Loverboy, yeah. A solo Mick Ronson record.
Zeppelin did some overdubs there.
They dubbed up.
Yeah, they dubbed on Heartbreaker.
The solo?
I don't know if it's the solo, but they did some Heartbreaker for Zeppelin 2.
Yeah.
And Whole Lot of Love. They did some overdubs at Mushroom during
You
the
actually
tour.
can hear it now you say that. Honestly, I can hear it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know from my albums that I've made there.
Yeah.
That then I A/B it with Zeppelin, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I can tell it sounds
they
really
almost sound as
similar
good as me.
tonally.
Tonally, they almost sound
Too bad they couldn't
play
have,
on my record.
done a
I
session
mean, they're all
with me.
alive, so
Yeah,
except for
well,
Bono.
I mean-
but his son's around. He'll do it.
I won't reach out to them though. I feel like
understand.
it's
I feel the same. I felt the same way about Prince for years.
Yeah.
Well,
he's gone now.
Yeah.
but-
So it's such a shame he never got to jam
Yeah.
with me.
I know. Yeah.
Honestly,
Well, you might have had a chance
Purple
when he used to
Rain.
do. Yeah.
like when he died, and everyone was like incredible, like the lights of a corporate building. Like Amazon have made all their lights purple
yeah.
tonight.
The doves cry tonight.
Yeah, I just heard
Yeah.
a dove cry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, he's like out doing the catering
At
for
the U2
364 rehearsals.
This is just a great lead up to a story.
So he's in, he's setting up the room and stuff, and Bono walks in
yeah.
and is like, "Hey, I'm looking for an espresso machine. It's the same one I have in my house on Cap d'Antibes,
Yeah.
It's Italian, it has 3 spouts, it's blue. See if you can get it for me." So Eric kind of like speaks to his, what do you got? What's up?
I'm just tucking in my shirt.
You're tucking in your Survived a Tour of Ireland shirt?
I'll tell the story about the
Dude,
shirt
if you
later.
could see what this guy looks like right now.
I
Full
wore it
leprechaun
to tell the
mode.
story.
Yeah, it's good. We'll take a photo of it. It can be, because this is a nice scene. It'd be nice for people to see what's happening here.
Sure.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of an outdoor shebeen, So
We
Eric,
got Alex here. Say hi, Alex.
she's saying hi.
Okay.
There's a flamingo. There's more plastic
Steven.
flamingos than there are real ones in the world.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so he wants the espresso machine.
That he has in his house
Yeah.
in like Montana,
piece of
wherever
shit.
it is.
What
Cap
happened?
Ferrat. So he's
Yeah.
like, if you can get it for me. So Eric like speaks to his boss and is like, he wants this specific espresso machine, and she's just like, get it. Like, get it. If you can figure out what it is, get it. So he just goes on the internet for a few hours and he finds one that is Italian, it's blue, it has 3 specific spouts, and he calls up. The only place that has it is like St. Paul's, Minneapolis. So he like calls up this, and he's been given like, just get it, just like whatever he wants is fine. We'll bill him for it. It's fine. Whatever. Just we can't affect their performance.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, of course.
He needs a specific espresso.
Yeah.
So he calls up this store in St. Paul's, home of Fitzgerald, Twin Cities. And
I've been there.
I've been there, no. And he calls the store up and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have one of those. I know which one you mean. It's fucking $4,000 something." He's like, "Great, can you ship it?" And he's like, "Well, we're closing. I can't." I mean, he's like, "You need to FedEx it me like overnight."
Yeah.
FedEx like express, and he's like, I was like, "I'll pay you the money, just stay and do it." And he's like, "I'm just about to close, buddy," And he's like, "I'll guarantee it's for Bono. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but I'll guarantee tickets. So when they, like if you can do this, just pull me a solid. I'll pay you the cash. You could run with the cash. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
So anyway, the guy's like, "All right, I'll do it." Sends it, ships it. It arrives the next morning. Eric goes and gets it, puts it in Bono's personal catering room, and just like waiting to see what happens. And then Bono walks in and he's like, "That's the one. How about we could do with a man like you? You want to come on tour with us?" And he went on tour with U2 as their fixer for like 2 years.
Eric?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He went and like, so he's got all the stories, and they're all like, he said it was great. Like they called The Edge Mr. The Edge.
Right,
You had to
that's where
call
that
him.
one came from
You know,
too, yeah.
that he said the life they lived, like, they don't have to do, they show up 20 minutes before a show to like 250,000 people in like Santiago. They just show up. Everyone else is sound check for them. Everything's dialed in. They just show up, a couple of Coronas, play for an hour and a half, make 500 grand. But he said there's some great times like, like St. Patrick's Day, like in Dublin with them, things like that. Said it was a great time, and he only stopped
Just
doing it.
kind of getting tuned up at a pub.
Yeah,
or
he
what?
said the only reason he stopped doing it was because, he had a career of his own to kind of, but an amazing story.
I'd rather hang out with Shane McGowan.
That would be your pick of like best
Of the Irish
party. There's a lot of them.
I don't know if that'd be my pick. Definitely not Van Morrison. It was never Van Morrison.
I was having
Because I always heard he was like a fucking asshole.
I was just thinking of chuckling to myself about Van Morrison and about like his new record and some of the. I think we talked about the titles, right?
Well, there's a new stuff. Actually, I was just chatting with Malcolm about this. He sent me a screenshot about it's a new double album of just him tripping out on COVID or something.
Yeah, They Own the Media.
Yeah, we've got Double Agent.
Why
was
are
one
you
of the
on Facebook?
Yeah.
Kind of has like a Malcolm energy, actually, like a data plan kind of energy.
It does.
Actually, if you think
What
about
you
it.
were saying is like, mistaken identity. Stop bitching. Do something.
Yeah, and then there's another, but then there's also one that's just called
Why are you on
Thank
Facebook?
God for the Blues.
Yeah, or like, do you want to be a slave?
No,
That one?
but there's Do You Want to Be a Slave? But he's also got a couple of standards
yeah.
on there, and there's one called Thank God for the Blues.
Thank God for the
It's just after they control the
But
media.
Malcolm was like, okay, so I was texting with Malcolm, and I was like joking, because I said I was thinking about you today. I'm wondering if you like Irish music, and he was like, I mean, I like Van Morrison, and I was like, his new stuff mostly though, yeah. And he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no more lockdown, they own the media, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, the new stuff. Why are you on Facebook? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I thought he was joking.
No.
And I was like, ha, 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 I love that one. I was like, but the ones I'm saying are real, I didn't know he
Yeah.
knew about this. And he was like, dude, mine is too. And then he said, you can't make this shit up. And I said, you could.
Yeah.
Because literally he's the only person I know who could make this
Yeah, it's
up,
true.
probably.
But I was just wondering if Van Morrison's always, what does, imagine if, Why Are You on Facebook, kind of sounds like, TB Sheets. It's a good tune. He's
I
just...
thought his voice on No More Lockdown sounded really good.
Yeah, and then, maybe, sweet...
Return to form.
If those, because he's kind of jazzy on Astral Weeks. It's not like you're really listening to what he's saying. Maybe he was always saying crazy racist lockdown stuff, anti-lockdown stuff.
I think he was more...
I will drive my chariot down your feed and cry. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
he was more kind of in the same canon as Phil Lynott,
Yeah. Lynott, I think.
Is it Lynott?
It is where I'm from. It might not be though.
I don't know.
don't know.
Harry Nilsson.
Well, you
We're-
made a big stink about that.
Well,
actually.
I'm glad you are too.
Well, I
'cause
don't,
know.
I don't know. I'm going to say Lynott, but maybe it's Lynott.
Phil Lynott. I
I'm gonna
wondered
say
today.
Lynott,
Okay, Phil Lynott. It's the same thing where it's kind of they're romantics. As think of him and Van Morrison in that time.
Yeah.
Now, the lyrics are just kind of like Irish romance.
So maybe they still are. It doesn't matter. Maybe
I don't know
Van's
if why are you on Facebook is very romantic.
But if you don't hear him really saying it and he's just
But,
kind
you
of
know,
scatting.
Into the mystic, man. That's just
But maybe
sex, dude.
they own the media. Sounds like Into the Mystic.
Well, yeah, musically, he's probably never changed.
He's just doing that
Yeah,
stuff.
but the
So
lyrics are just...
it's fucking crazy to imagine how having a song called "They Own the Media" even made it past his lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
Being
Because
that's
of how anti-Semitic
yeah,
it
it's
sounds.
just okay, and they're probably all Jewish lawyers too. So he's yeah, and they're just kind of I don't know how it could what's the end game? He's it's going on the record and just maybe
Who's they? Could
yeah,
you clarify who they are?
might want to clarify who they is.
Please clarify
Yeah.
who they are first
Yeah.
before we release this. Nope, sorry.
No, won't.
Because I don't know who they are.
No, I don't know.
He doesn't know
No,
who
he
they
doesn't.
are.
And maybe it's them. Who was them?
Yeah, them.
It's them. They,
we,
them.
me.
We. It's me. Maybe it's him.
It is
It's
him.
them.
He's talking about no more celebrities telling people what
Yeah.
to do. Maybe this is the most brilliant thing ever.
Yeah.
And is actually a self-referential.
Oh, don't
Like-
listen to me.
Yeah, he's talking about how I'm the problem here.
Yeah. There's lots of really actually kind of convoluted theories of The Irishman, the movie that are like that. It's a deliberate, almost it's some kind of Adorno or Brecht of this is how you dismantle it's some kind of
Yeah.
crazy cinema. I think it might just be shit, but
Yeah.
it's possible that it's a work of art.
I'm not going to go that far quite yet.
No.
But
Tell me about how you survived the tour of
So-
Ireland.
this shirt was I went
Take
to
a photo of you while you're
Go
doing it,
ahead,
because
yeah.
people are going to love your look right now.
I was in Ireland at the age of 14.
Yeah.
My parents, because I had family in Ireland, my parents thought it might be good for John for a summer to go and meet and hang out. Well, I'd met them actually before, but to hang out with his Irish cousins for a few weeks in Ireland in the summer. So they put me on a plane at 13 or 14, which is quite young to travel on your own.
Yeah.
And I had a layover in Glasgow, and it was a thing, and I had the thing around my neck that was unaccompanied minor.
Yeah. Just in
you
case Epstein needed to know who he was going to look for in the airport. No, kind of it's post Home Alone era too, so everyone's really worried about that
Yeah.
shit happening. Kevin McAllister and
So I went there, and I spent some time in Newcastle in Northern Ireland with my family, and then my cousin Gary, who was like the coolest, one of the most influential older men in my life.
Yeah.
Like a
Not Gary Moore.
No, not. Oh no, it's never mind. He was like an artist and lived in Dublin. He was like 20 or younger, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Come up to Dublin, and I'll, show you a good
Down to
time."
Dublin,
I was 14, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." So I got on a bus from Belfast to Dublin.
Yeah.
And he was like, there was no cell phones then.
No.
And he was like, "I'll pick you up at the bus station."
Basically going through the Gaza Strip.
And so we at that time, this was in the 90s, mid 90s.
Blowing up Manchester when I was a kid. There,
Yeah. So I'm 14, and I the bus driver announces, "Oh, we're in Dublin,"
Yeah.
So I get off the bus.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there to greet me. And I'm there. I'm sitting in the middle of Dublin, this bus station. And Gary, as it turned out, had been at another station. And I sat there all day for like 8 hours waiting. People like deflecting people coming all around me. Like, "What are you doing here?" Like, looked like a sitting duck.
Kind of cunning.
Like, and finally he came on his bike and found me. And when I told
that's irresponsible.
It was.
No,
but he was a kid. Like,
oh yeah, but
he took me out drinking that night.
Yeah, but that's some Irish simpleton shit.
Yeah. And so when I got back to Newcastle,
simpletons.
My auntie Wynne, wonderful woman, passed last year.
Yeah.
At the age of 98 or something. Loved her. She was waiting. She'd heard the story, and she was waiting with this T-shirt for me.
Wow.
I survived a tour of Ireland.
And it still fits you.
And it's got a bus on it.
It has a bus on it.
So I always kept it.
Well, I like it. It looks great on you, especially with the green shirt, too.
Yeah, well, like you say, the plastic Irish, I think it's fun.
Oh, listen.
I don't drink the green beer. I don't wear the hats.
I don't think does anyone do it in Ireland? I don't think they do.
No, I just wear a little green and I drink Guinness. That's all I do.
It's not. You're kind of like it's like the Boston vibe.
No, they go full tilt, dude. I don't do
man.
that. I'm not at the Blarney Stone.
Well, we've closed down the city because of St. Patrick's Day tonight, haven't we? I mean, we're very fortunate where we live in Vancouver that like things are still kind of open and operating because COVID-19 isn't so bad here, and so much, reverence and respect.
On January 22nd, on the government website, they said COVID-19 was not a threat. But then, on December 24th, on the WHO website, I read that COVID-19 was now not to be taken lightly.
Is this you doing Van Morrison's?
Paraphrasing, it's pretty much how the song goes.
Yeah, it's like kind of the no more lockdown thing.
Why are they working and why are we not?
Amazing. Eric Clapton just had his tour cancelled, and you read the comments, and most of the people commenting are like, he's not saying it, but he did that song with Van, and he's like, that my tour, he was pissed, tour's been cancelled, and people are like, fucking, it's a hoax. Eric, like, don't let him be.
Let him be.
Honestly.
I'm just going to grab a beer. You can pause it if you want.
Yeah, I don't really know.
How to?
Well, I do know how to, but...
Just to entertain the guests.
Yeah, I'll just... He's left me on my own out here. I mean, we're meant to be talking about Thin Lizzy, but... we don't really know too much about them, I guess. I like the records. I suppose there's not really... My take was going to be that there's not really a definitive Thin Lizzy record other than maybe Live and Dangerous. So I said we could maybe do that because it's kind of like a greatest hits compilation that is, I don't know, arguably not live, or like parts of it are. He just seems maybe too good to be live, and looking it up. Oh no, he's bringing out harps now too. He's gone full on. He's gone full on with the lagers too. Oh, you got a harp there, pal?
Yeah, I got
Okay, so... Well, the Guinness family, who own most of the British properties here, are going to be really happy with you.
It was way too expensive at the liquor store to buy like these like singles of Irish beers today.
Did you get any Kilkenny?
I did, but
You did?
do you know that Kilkenny is not like drunk in Ireland?
Yeah.
When I was there, I went into a bar in Belfast into a pub, rather.
Yeah.
And I asked for a Kilkenny, and the guy was like, "We don't have a Kilkenny. I'm sorry." And he said, I said, "Oh, like in Canada and America, like we have it everywhere." And he said, literally, it was invented in like the late 90s to just export to the USA and Canada.
Sure. That makes sense.
So people, but I actually do like it, and I do have some. I'll give you one later.
Yeah, I don't mind a creamy bitter,
Yeah.
It's fine.
But Harp, they'd certainly drink there.
yeah, I like that new Guinness Hop House Lager. You like that one?
Never had it.
That one's good. You get it sometimes on tap. I've seen it. You get it here. It's big in certainly in England.
Do you know that there's a great story? I'll tell you another great story.
The
that
sun right now is just
beautiful,
so
glorious.
nice.
That my grandfather, Johnny Payne, he was as well, had a friend who worked in advertising in London.
Yeah.
And he came to his house one night and he said, "I've got this big client,
Yeah.
Guinness,
Yeah. Heard
and
of
they
them.
want a slogan. And I have to come up with it by tomorrow morning. I've got a meeting."
Okay.
I may have told you this, but anyway. And they sat around, my grandfather and this guy, all night talking
Yeah.
about it and thinking about it. And the guy was like, "I have this idea. Guinness is good for you."
Yeah.
That's the line. And my grandfather said, "Yeah, it's great. That's beautiful. I love it." And they
Yeah.
sat around getting drunk all night. And he went in the next day and he said the guy went into the office and it was like the Guinness family were all there
Yeah.
because they were like family. And they sat there and they sort of, "What have you got for us?" And he said,
Yeah.
"Well, I've been up all night thinking about it.
Drinking.
Guinness is good for you." And
Yeah.
they sort of sat in silence for a second and said, "That's wonderful." And it's still the slogan to this day. So my grandfather
None
sort
more
of had a
black.
hand
None
in
more
it.
black.
Yeah.
That could have been it. None more black.
But what a good slogan. I always thought Guinness is good for
I
you.
thought it was my goodness, my Guinness.
That's another one. And
Okay.
also gives you strength is another one. But Guinness...
That's Red Bull kind of did that one a bit too. Kind of took the mantle on there with wings.
Yeah, but Guinness is good for you.
You
was
can't
the
say
cause-
that a bit anymore.
That's so good, though. It's good for you.
It's not good for you.
No, but it's genius.
It's like, yeah, it's deceptive, though, isn't it?
Well, so is like cigarette ads, everything, but that's like
Right.
madman shit, right?
Yeah, they're good furniture, though.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Guinness actually has the most calories of any beer. You know that?
I didn't go running today.
Sorry, I didn't mean
We've got
to.
pasta coming up too. Pasta.
Yeah, but it's a healthy. It's a veggie.
Yeah.
It's not like a.
It's not
It's
calorific.
not a carbonara,
Oh, it's not a cream based.
No. Egg.
Gary Moore was, kind of came and went
Who's
a little
he?
bit. He was guitarist. He played in Thin Lizzy a bit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
From Northern Ireland.
Nice.
But I just saw, he was kind of he's a blues guitarist.
Yeah.
Influenced by, Clapton, kind of the Clapton style.
But like way better than Clapton.
Well, I mean, Bob Geldof said, without question, Moore was
He's
one
Irish.
of the great Irish bluesmen. So,
Blues is cool.
I wonder what George Harrison thought about whether they discussed it when he discussed with Bob Geldof that Neil Young was good to listen to for a laugh.
For a laugh, maybe.
Maybe, even.
Well, something else I found out today, James, is I was looking up the Pitchfork review of the album Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy.
Okay.
And in classic Pitchfork fashion,
Yeah.
the article begins, and I don't know what the hell
They
they're
must have given
talking-
it a 10, though.
9.1 out of 10.
Because they're literally Thin Lizzy are like the cool. Everyone likes Thin Lizzy. I don't know anyone who doesn't like him, but I don't know many people who actually know anything about them. And I fall into that exact same category.
Yeah.
I really like them. I couldn't tell you their scene.
I mean, I don't
really,
go around talking about how much I like them, but...
I mean, they're definitely
A lot
like
of people
Pitchfork
do.
cool.
So, Jailbreak, the album that features the hit single, The Boys Are Back in Town.
I've heard of that one.
Great song. But I love this intro. It's like classic fucking Pitchfork, man.
Yeah.
Here we go. This writer feeling himself. You don't have to be a boy to be one of the boys.
Okay.
All you need are good times, good friends, and the kind of self-acceptance that comes with looking around knowingly and nodding in appreciation. When you hang with the boys,
Hemingway.
yeah, when you hang with the boys, there's a bunch that gets said, but there's a bunch more that goes without saying. That you're leaving your worries behind. That this right here, being with the boys, this is real living.
They should send that guy to fucking, like, wherever the Irish army, were, like, send him right into the Troubles, this guy, and see what being a boy is like.
And everything else is what you navigate to get here. It feels good to be with the boys. You lose yourself a little bit, sitting in your camp chair or at some wooden picnic table or in the corner booth of your local bar and grill. You
bar and grill?
Yeah, you look a little...
Never been to a pub before. Never been to a bar, this guy.
You feel a little bit bigger, too.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, you know what, buddy? That's all fine and well,
yeah.
But I'm pretty much 100% sure that's not what he's talking about in the song. The boys are. He's talking about going out and raging with his fucking bros.
Army bros.
That's it.
Yeah. Dude, jail.
I think the bar and grill thing was because he says, down at Dino's Bar and Grill.
Yeah, they do talk about Dino's, but that's true, actually, yeah.
The time we're down at Dino's.
They're going down to Dino's.
That's the best.
That's so cool,
That's
man.
the best.
I mean, he
Friday
rules.
night dressed to kill down at Dino's Bar and Grill. That's
Yeah.
my favorite lyric.
Well, he is, like, known as a poet.
Yeah.
Akin
It's clear.
to James Joyce.
It's clear. Ulysses, Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeats.
Finnegan's Wake. And then Jailbreak. Great lyric in Jailbreak. Tonight there's going to be a jailbreak somewhere in this town.
Yeah.
Wonder where it's going to be.
Probably the jail.
Get the fucking minds together. We're going to need some detectives to figure this one out because we have no idea where this jailbreak's going to happen, and we're going to need to fucking make sure people are safe here. We're going to need to get, they're going to need to have like a Memento style wall of like, the classic kind of Kaiser Sose wall of like what's going on, figure out where this jailbreak is because it's happening somewhere in this town.
Somewhere in this town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Live and Dangerous has the sleaziest joke ever made to an audience.
Yeah, no, it does.
Where he says...
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to say...
Do you want me to be the audience?
He says, are there any Irish in the audience
No, he
tonight?
says, does anyone have any Irish in them?
Does anyone... no, I think...
No?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Does anyone have any Irish in the audience?
Woo!
Yeah. Do any of the girls in the audience want a little more Irish in them?
Fuck yeah, dude. Guy rules. Yeah, man. You know what? Like, I was reading some stuff about, Lynott, and it's like, some, people saying, like, he was... This guy, John Dugan, says, Lynott was a more insightful and intelligent writer than many of his ilk, including Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen. Better than Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan at writing about slice of life, working class dramas of love and hate, which is virtually the entire Irish literary tradition.
Yeah.
These people have never read anything.
I always thought that he kind of had a bit of a Springsteen vibe, though. There's
a working class energy.
in the vocal delivery.
He's
the singing
sing-songy.
style.
Yeah, he's sing-songy.
No, more like Blinded by the Light.
Yeah. I guess it might be it is a bit of a Dylan vibe, though, actually.
Yeah.
He's from the Dylan school, I guess.
Yeah.
He probably liked...
I always thought that Greetings
Milk
from
Wood.
Asbury Park, the first Springsteen, and
I've
Thin
heard
Lizzy.
it.
Not other Springsteen, but that one and
before Springsteen went full tilt work. When he was more of just like hanging out,
leather tramp poetry.
Sure, like, it's a hot day, let's fucking turn the fire extinguisher, like, the water on the street, kids are playing in it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day in Jersey.
How did Lynott die?
Oh, just booze and shit.
Drugs.
36.
Drugs, like, infected his stomach or something I was reading.
He was really young.
It was like...
These guys, like, it's funny. It's same with, like, like a lot of people, but bowling's like this where it's like, Thin Phil Lynott dies, and like I actually really like This Old Town and that sort of weird, sort of bad 80s stuff that he did, you know, solo.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny that like he died, and you think of him as being like washed up, and it's like, poor fucking guy, like dying. His career's over. He's had a great career. And it's like 36 years old. Like, all those albums are like, he's our age, man.
Yeah.
And like, he'd done like, I mean, there's a lot of albums, you know. Even if you just, I mean, people will, you're gonna get, this is the one, like, we don't know much about like anything that we talk about, but I feel like this is the episode where I don't know, I don't even listen to music. I don't make it.
We're not even talking about music. I mean, I don't know anything about anything.
This is a food podcast. But this is the kind of episode where we're gonna get loads of like hate mail being like, yeah, you actually like said at one point that like Jailbreak came before Johnny the Fox, and actually it's like after, because people fucking love Thin Lizzy.
I know, if anyone clicks on this and thinks that we're actually talking about Thin Lizzy, they're going to be really disappointed.
I read a couple of articles. I like this. Check this out. Check out this for a headline, like a first paragraph in an article. What kind of demented place in the universe this guy who wrote this must be in. As Israel pulled out of Lebanon in June 1978, Thin Lizzy pulled out the stops with one of music's greatest live albums. This is like a really, really weird lineage. Anyway.
I got something really great to tell you.
I can't wait.
So, my Aunt Jeannie, always wonderful with the feedback.
She probably knew Phil.
So, we did an episode on Stevie Wonder that aired today, which is a week ago for the listeners. And you asked a question. You say, do you think Stevie ever indulged?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, Jeannie wrote me and said, hey, Johnny, remind me to tell you about Chicharo, Stevie, and me. Chicharo was her husband in Mexico.
Yeah.
And all she said was, he indulged, that's for sure. Love you, Jeannie.
We gotta get her on, man. We gotta go. She's like Sharon Stone.
Yeah. Oh, she met all of them.
Yeah.
Dylan, Stevie, everybody. Yeah.
In Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. Because they had the hottest restaurant and club. They owned everything. Like, you know, like.
Dude, I love it.
But I just love that. That's for sure. He indulged. Stevie. I just love thinking about Stevie getting keyed up down in Mexico. Having a great time.
So I was reading about the kind of, because there's like obviously like Thin Lizzy and Lionel, like he is like he's got like a singular energy. He's got his own vibe.
Yeah.
And he's the way he sings and his lyrics and stuff. And they like, I suppose it's like in 1974 they like switched from one lead guitarist to two, and that's like when it happened. Because like Live and Dangerous, it's bonkers guitar playing, and I suppose
I've
like
heard.
And it's the start of, and we covered this with Luke, like the start of the twin guitar attack.
Yeah.
Like that's when it really starts, and then you get kind of like a new wave of heavy metal comes out of it. Even like maybe like Metallica and stuff is like responsible for that stuff, you know? Judas Priest.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
Maiden.
Yeah.
And, like, I was reading about the guy Robertson, what's his first name? Bruce or something? Everyone's called fucking Bruce.
The California dude?
No, the young guy from Scotland.
Oh, I don't know.
Who was like the other guy, the other guitarist who like joined when he was 18.
They had so many.
Yeah, but he's like Twin
He's the
Guitar
guy,
Attack.
yeah.
It's like him and the Californian guy.
Yeah.
And I was reading his Wikipedia and thinking about how good he is at guitar and like shredding and stuff. And it says, I wonder who wrote, like, you can like add in whatever you want to Wikipedia. I wonder who wrote this in as a kind of caveat.
Okay.
Just at the end of his whole life and everything about him, everything about his style, everything about the style that he developed, like the two guitar attack, about him like just rage partying and like, struggling to like grow up as like, because he was like taken by surprise by Boys Are Back in Town doing really well.
Yeah.
And like, so he started boozing. You can only imagine how debauched like the scene was. And they weren't even like that big either. They were kind of like, well, you're saying like opening for BTO somehow.
And Queen.
I mean, that makes sense, I think. Queen, because Queen were really big.
I was amazed at the list of bands they opened for.
They're just hard-working band. And Slade, I mean, yeah. Well, it's a weird scene. That, like, all those, like, the sort of English...
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
We're talking about all these
I don't know
bands where I'm
anything.
like, yeah, I sort of remember them from being in England.
Seen the covers.
Or just like, you know, this guy leaves Thin Lizzy to join Motorhead. That kind of stuff.
I know it's cool.
Yeah, man.
I know the bands are
British
good.
hard rock.
Yeah.
But it says at the end of his Wikipedia, someone's just put in a little...
You memorized it. You got your phone down.
Someone's just put in a couple of lines. Robertson, like many young British guitarists, was heavily influenced by Eric Clapton.
Wow.
I was thinking,
it's
like,
amazing.
not true. Clapton wrote it. He has a guy like Henley.
I see. Okay.
He has a guy like Henley
yeah.
going around being like, make sure every guitarist that came after me, I have to be on their Wikipedia.
No one in England
no one
could have developed as a guitarist
if it wasn't
without
me.
him.
Let him be.
Let him be, yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, I don't really even see how Clapton could have influenced, like, the stuff about how Cream, like, influenced, like, hard rock is even weird to me. Because weren't Zeppelin kind of around at the same time?
I don't know, man. It's all bullshit. You know, it says here, Alice in Chains, heavily influenced by the Twin Guitar Attack.
Well, yeah, I would say that.
Yeah?
For sure.
I don't even know if I know a song.
Yeah, I know
by
more
them.
about that
Yeah?
scene. The grunge
It's
scene.
like Sunset grunge, though, isn't it? It's Sunset.
they're Seattle.
But
Alice
like
is
sleazy,
Seattle.
like that guy, isn't he?
Who, the guitarist or Lane Staley? He died 27 Club, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly 27, but he was very young, man.
Man, the food smells really good.
The needle took him, man.
Yeah, unless it's coming from the street. It's like a cookout out there.
We were talking, Alex and I, the other day about how the Seattle grunge scene must have been gnarly.
Oh, dude.
Like, because so many people,
yeah,
just
junked out.
dropped, and like it was really dirty and like kind of gnarly grungy, I guess is the word. But
nice.
like it's just, and there was so much money and so much success flying around, and people were partying super hard. But it wasn't like the '60s
doing
yeah,
skag.
dark.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the '60s where people were like wearing nice clothes, like Laurel Canyon. It was like
they were like still living in like moldy basements.
Yeah. And like Kurt and Courtney, like just shooting up with like candy wrappers everywhere and like a baby crying in the corner.
But she was a temptress. She tempted us all.
Well, Billy Corgan knows all about that.
Well, there's a Julian Cope. Julian Cope from the Teardrop Explodes. British new wave kind of Liverpool
Hilarious band
beat
name.
scene there. Like Echo and the Bunnymen.
Teardrop Explodes.
Good band, man.
I'm sure they're
great
good,
band.
yeah.
Sort of Liverpool early '80s scene. Like he became like, he had a bit of a solo career that was quite successful too, and then he became like a writer, and he got really into like Norse rune stones and things. Became kind of like this weird guy, a bit like Bill Drummond from KLF, where it's like he'll just like you'll bump into him on the street and be like, Jesus, you're Julian Cope, and he's like, yeah. He's like, do you want a cup of tea and talk about like Norse mythology with me? And he wrote an autobiography. It's one of the best books I've ever read on music.
Yeah,
called Head On, and in it, he's living in Liverpool as like a university student, hanging out at a record shop, and Eric's the bar, which is really famous, and Echo and the Bunnymen are a band, and Wahheat, and then Pete Burns from Dead or Alive hasn't become like he's pre-op. He's still like a guy. He's not kind of become a woman yet and stuff. So he's just like this kind of crazy punk scene in Liverpool. And he talks in the book a lot about this weird 17-year-old American stripper who comes to Liverpool, and it's everyone who reads the book knows it's Courtney Love that he's talking about. She's like
really?
So dark, like at 17, just shows up in Liverpool like partying her face off for no reason, just like I'm in Liverpool now for a bit. This is like 10 years, it's like no hole, there's nothing happening, So sleazy scene, man, for sure.
I don't know. enough about Courtney, but what I've heard is not good.
Bet she'd be really fun to hang around with.
Kurt seems like a real sensitive guy.
Well, a little bit too much perspective.
Perhaps
with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I was at the liquor store when I came over here buying that Jameson's.
Yeah.
And there was a guy at the liquor store. You know these people who he was in like full. This is a very West Coast thing, I think. Very Vancouver, probably LA too. He's like full fucking bike gear. Like he was like, you know, in his 50s, suited, decked out. Looks like he's doing the Tour de France. You know, like he's like in spandex, lycra, looking at me like I'm insane for just like trying to buy a beer. And he's also got a helmet on. He's got his cleats on, and he's walking around the liquor store.
Yeah.
And he's trying to buy Guinness, probably because he has to, because you have to do that today.
Yeah.
And he's got like a camera on his head. You know, like people
GoPro.
who like a GoPro in case he's like in an accident or something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's like got so much equipment on that he's incapable of using his hands to get the Guinness out of the fridge. Like his life is so complicated. And he's filming himself not being able to open a fridge.
Wow.
And I was just thinking, these people first against the wall if I was in charge.
Yeah,
you know?
well, like this guy that I encountered today on the bridge who...
Oh, yeah, let's talk about
on my
him.
way to go swimming. You know, I like to run, and so do you.
Certainly. Certainly, if I know I'm having pasta, I like to do a 10
I'll
at least.
I'll run 8K like it's nobody's
3
business.
or 4 days a week. Well, you listen to the record we're doing.
100%.
Get keyed
Live
up,
and dangerous.
fired up.
I'll be keyed for the whole 8K. I'll keep going for 18.
I can't stop. Forrest Gump style.
18, 28, 38, whatever. Anyway, I'm walking across the bridge today, and I'm going to the pool in like my
bridge
jeans.
Too. Big old bridge.
In my jeans and like Doc Martens
We're
and like a leather
Golden
jacket.
Gate style.
And I'm a little bit late because nowadays if you want to swim in the pool, you got to book a lane. It's the COVID thing. You got to be there on time to get to your lane, right? So I'm walking across the bridge.
Do the social distancing.
Yeah, shaking hand, wearing masks, and it's not even Halloween.
First of all, I'd like to thank the first responders and they're doing. You can't fucking say that they're doing.
As the saying goes, this too shall pass.
Do the social. You know what it's like? It's the code thing. It's like if you go down to the pool now, it's like you gotta do the social distance.
There's a lot of people, Mike Love types down at the pool.
Yeah.
That they tell you when you go in, like you got to wear your mask through the change room, everything, and then you go in there and
this
guys
too
are
shall pass.
Just throw the mask off. They're just walking around slapping asses.
Yeah, exactly.
Like whatever.
Is there a kind of bear kind of gay scene in the aquatic center there? Because it's kind of like downtown. It's kind of would be the place.
It's not super.
Is there a cruising
super
zone?
apparent at the aquatic center, but
you don't think it's
I will
a cruising
say
spot?
that at the YMCA where I used to swim,
sure.
that was
definitely
a bit of the situation, but. That's
all
fine.
the power to it, man.
I kept my head down and didn't really mind when guys would be sort of staring at me while I was getting undressed, which happened a lot.
I find it quite a turn on, you know. When I went to the
You
YMCA,
like when the guys stare at you?
I mean, listen, give an old guy a minute. You know, it's like, I don't care.
Well, I do that here because across the street they can see into our apartment. I just walk around naked all day.
See something he likes, you know what I mean?
I'll walk around all day, give him a little thrill.
Yeah. Those guys are just...
Look at this woman across the street here. You see that?
You
think she doesn't want to see Johnny Payne walking around? Dude, I've got armadillos in my defense.
People are intimidated.
They run screaming.
I don't mind putting a bit of a show on for an older guy in a changing room.
Yeah, but when you go every day like me, sometimes it gets a little weird when
you
they're
feel
just standing in the
corner
staring at me undressing. But you
know
what? The YMCA... That was founded on that kind of energy, and I understand that, and I respect it.
I mean, I think it wasn't. It was just the village people kind of.
Oh, they started that?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe
anyway,
not. I
so
think
today,
it's a young man's
I'm walking
Christian
across the bridge, right? I run all the time.
Listen.
And all of a sudden, I'm late for my lane.
Yeah, you can't be late for your lane.
So I start jogging.
Yeah, but in jeans.
In jeans, like just to kind of make my lane, right? And I start jogging. And then I stop, because I'm like, I've made up enough time to get there on time. I've jogged halfway across the bit and I'll stop now. And this like jogger, like you say, like your biker guy in full on jogging gear runs past me. And he's like, hey man, you were looking good back there. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah, I did.
And then like sprints away from me. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, man.
Honestly.
It's like, he's like, you know what? Exercise is good. Like, you should stay into it. You should try to get fit. I'm like, buddy, you want to race right now?
You should have raced him.
I would. He was already gone, though, so he probably would have beaten me.
Yeah, but he probably had on some kind of special orthopedic go faster shoes.
But I was just like, you know what? Mind your own business,
Beeswax,
man. If I want to run for a quarter of a bridge,
I'm allowed.
That's That might be my exercise for the day, and
Don't
that's
judge
none of your
me.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I got Rolling Stone's top 50 live albums ever. And I'm gonna.
What's number one?
Well, I'm gonna really. Right on, Johnny. Well, it is St. Patrick's Day if you're gonna drop your pints all over the floor. At least they're not on your pants. I have a great photo of you when you dropped about a tray of beer on your trousers, on your cotton dockers about a year ago.
Yeah.
So check this out. I'm just thinking, and I think the fans of the pod here will understand. So this is the top 50 live albums of all time.
Yeah.
Obviously written before BLM became a thing.
Right.
Because at number 48 is Donny Hathaway live. Number 48 of 50.
Not really live.
Well, neither's Live and Dangerous. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Number 46 is Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous. So there's 45 records better live than those two. Number 42 is Fish.
Fish.
Number 32 is U2.
What?
Under a Blood Red Sky.
Oh, God.
So we got some good ones. Arkwell.
Better than that Donny Hathaway?
Yeah.
In their fucking dreams, man.
We've got some good ones. We got let's just go through some really good ones in here.
Yeah.
Neil Young, Time Fades Away. No. Not good.
It's good.
Not as good as Live and Dangerous.
No, but that's not bad.
I'm just assuming the end's just going to be all Sinatra. Like, that's like all I can think of. Let's see what they've got here.
No, I know number one. Can I guess number one?
Yeah, but wait a second. Yeah, I'm at 28 here, and we're at the Ramones.
Yeah.
Bob Seger Live Bullet. Number 20. Seger's Big Thin Lizzy Energy.
How would that's not better than Live and Dangerous for sure.
How do you feel about Led Zeppelin, How the West Was Won?
I don't listen to that one too often, but it's probably pretty good.
What about Band Rock of Ages?
So bad.
22.
We own it, Alex.
Number 22.
We own it. We never.
That's double as
Sucks.
good. Double as good.
Hard Rain, Bob Dylan. That's good.
We've not seen it yet. Jimmy Plays Monterey is at fucking 18.
Yeah.
It's not a full album, that, though. Rock on, man. They're not fans of Jimmy either, I guess.
Or they are.
Oh, they are, yeah.
You said that and they freaked out.
Okay, it's going to get it's getting really jazzy at the top here.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you saying is number one?
Number one. I mean, Frampton Comes Alive.
No, that's 42.
Oh, that's 42. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the number one
Live Dead is 7. Can't complain.
Actually, I don't really...
Dude, number 6, Kiss Alive.
Oh, God.
Who wrote this shit?
Is this Pitchfork?
No, it's Rolling Stone.
Oh, whatever.
The Who Live at Leeds, number 4. I understand that because it's their best record.
Yeah, let me think.
Johnny Cash, number 2. Allman Brothers,
Folsom
number
Prison.
2. Sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Let me think.
Number 1.
You haven't said it?
No.
Let me think. Just give me a second here.
You think about it for a little bit, and you can take that. This is a Wednesday episode, so I'll just sign off before Johnny has a couple of guesses at this. This has been a St. Patrick's Day special on Impossible Way of Life, and if you like our podcast, you can subscribe via Patreon. We need the money. I had to buy a bottle of Jameson, but I'll tell you, actually, that bottle was on you guys, so really appreciate that. We've had
Sam Cooke, live at the Harlem Square Club.
No, I think that's like 7 or something. And we love you guys.
James Brown live at the Apollo.
There it is, dude. Well done. What a hero. How about that? Johnny Payne survived an Irish tour.
Survived an Irish tour. Nails it.
Just nailing it. Well,
we love you guys.
We love you guys. I hope you had a good St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you next week.